You're listening to a Rock Candy podcast.
What exactly makes Beyoncé the queen bee?
How do we feel about Ariana Grande's use of rap vernacular?
And most importantly, what's better, chamomile or spiced chai?
We ponder all of this and more on Hot Tea Hot Takes, now a part of the Rock Candy Podcast Network.
Our show is just two friends drinking tea and discussing music, culture, politics, and anything else that comes to mind.
We cover everything from Mozart to Megan Thee Stallion.
New uploads are posted weekly. Look for it wherever you get your podcast. We'll see you soon.
Bye!
Joey Reese, Pickle Boot Shop. Get yourself a pickle. Get yourself a boot. Joey Reese, Pickle Boot Shop.
Pickle time is happening. Pickle time. I go down to get some pickles.
Bring your grandma and your kids.
I go downtown.
Bring your grandma and your kids.
Boot time. Pickle and boot time. Don't be fickle. Get your pickle cider. Pop a nickel in your boots. Not a place of ill repute. Bring your grandma and your kids. Come for the pickles. Stay for the squids.
Pickle and Boot Shop.
Stay for the squids.
Yeah, pickle time.
Put that pickle in your pants, get some booze inside your hands. Put that pickle in your pants, get some booze inside your hands.
1996, we start this.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to jump right into this. This is episode 28 of the Pickle and Boot Shop. It is Joe Yerke from the Insiders, but as I've learned from the Pickle and Boot Diabolical Discussion page, it doesn't matter what my name is. Nobody cares about me anyway. I'm the other guy. I'm known as the other guy, and with me today is a guest we've had on before. He's back to help me out, co-host, not as an interviewee, but as a co-host. We got Andy Verdecchio, better known as Chaka, back in the studio. And yeah, Andy, you are back because Reese is still out on a family emergency. So you guys keep prayers and everything going for him and his family. Again, I'm sure you guys will hear more in the future from Reese, but that's how that goes. But I think we're just going to jump into this freebie portion. And
Nice.
I have some questions for you. How was your Thanksgiving? How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good, man.
Yeah, the family good, everything like that. Like, what do you guys do for Thanksgiving?
It was just us this Thanksgiving. It's just my wife and my kids this time around. We went to the Rapids game.
The who?
The Colorado Rapids.
Oh, soccer?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you said the Rabbits game. I was like, who are the Rabbits? You're like, yeah, we do this thing. It's a festival in Denver every year, the Rabbits game, and everybody, you try and catch a rabbit with your bare hands. You wear a loincloth and diving flippers, and then you're blindfolded and you try and catch a rabbit.
You have to wear a snorkel too.
Yeah, and you try and catch a greased rabbit. Yeah, and so it's fun. They've been
but it's organic grease, so
it's organic grease, locally sourced grease.
yeah. Sometimes they use
free range grease.
Sometimes they'll use olive oil instead, just because it's good for their coat.
Yes. And the rabbits are they're actually rabid rabbits. So as you're trying to catch them, you don't want to get bit by them.
Yeah.
And that's
well, they make sure that all the grease and stuff that they put on them is like locally sourced and organic, but then they inject them with rabies.
Yeah, and
so it sort of
HGH.
balances itself out.
Yeah, and human growth hormone. Like the rabbits are ripped, like their muscles are legit.
Yeah.
So it's like trying to catch like a little brick of muscle.
Do you remember the movie The Twilight Zone?
Yeah, do I? Yeah.
You remember the kid? You remember the kid with the? He had the ability to make cartoons come to life.
Yeah.
And he makes that big crazy giant rabbit. It's like one of those.
Yeah. Yeah, and they've been doing it in Denver for centuries. People don't know it, but even prior to the Native Americans when they displaced the Mayans, who displaced the Scientologists, they've been doing it since Scientology days.
Yeah.
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 See, people come to this show, Chaka, for facts, for loosely translated facts.
Well, I am a treasure trove of worthless information. So,
Yeah.
sorry,
So-
I'm eating.
Yeah, so I'm not telling you anything you don't already know, that Scientologists were here on the earth before the Mayans and the Incas and the Native Americans.
Yeah. Well, that's how they pass their, what is it, canons on to everyone.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then when they, even back then when they were thinking about that 747 flight to the Big Dipper. Now, are you? It looks like you're drinking a big old glass of sour cream there.
No,
That looked like
that's
the
almond.
that looked like the
almond milk.
thickest milk I've ever seen in my life.
It's almond milk. For some reason, we got we usually get the unflavored original, like not unsweetened.
Yeah.
But we got the vanilla sweetened this time, and I don't like it as much. It's too
Like
much.
drinking ice cream.
Yeah, kind of.
But now, why do you think they call it almond milk? Why don't they just call it almond juice?
Because according to Lewis Black, every time you say almond juice, you start to gag.
I haven't heard that, but it drives me nuts with the milk thing. Like milk comes from mammals.
Right. I think it's just it's because it's a substitute.
It's a southern thing. I think it's a southern thing. Like pecans. You know, it's like a whole thing. You got almond milk. They call it milk because it's like pecans from the South.
There you go.
In the South, you got Kings of Leon. You got racism. You got almond milk. What else do you need?
I don't know. Maybe I'm having a hard.
It's been a long day. I know. This is what you got to deal with. This is what you got to deal with today, buddy. But
Dude, I got my hearing checked today,
so how'd that
and
go?
I went well. I have really bad tinnitus though.
Oh, do you?
So now I have hearing aids.
Now, did you?
So-
Obviously, you got the tinnitus from what's it called? From drumming.
Yep.
It just hurt your eardrums and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it sucks real bad. So wear hearing protection, kids.
Yeah, and we were all told that too, but none of us listened.
Yeah.
I listened as best I could. I always wore the Sonic 2s back when we toured. I had those little filters and stuff, and it really did help. But I think the damage was done prior to me
Yeah.
wearing them.
Well, now they have. Now there's like you can get in-ears relatively inexpensive in-ears, or affordable. I don't want to say inexpensive, and then like hearing protection now is like far beyond what we had when we were touring.
I mean, if I could go back, it's not like I was just pulling in chicks left and right, because the number was actually 0. So it's not like I had anyone to impress. I would just go back and wear like gunsmith earmuffs, just big old earmuffs that I could control like how much volume came into them. And like I could care less like what it looked like. I just have like the big old muffs on. So
yeah, this doctor was really cool, man. She we actually were able to dial in the exact frequency that my tinnitus was ringing at. And I have these hearing aids that plays like these little sounds, and it's supposed to train, because tinnitus doesn't come from your ears, it comes from your brain.
Yes.
So it's supposed to actually train your brain to not do that anymore, to not look for that frequency.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah. It's really interesting. And she was like hip to all my lingo, man. Like,
Oh,
so like,
you were like,
She
this is
works with, like,
sweet. And she was like, wait, I remember that word from the 90s. It is sweet.
yeah. And I was like, yo, this is chill, super dope and cool.
And she's like, do you
And
need me to
she
turn
said-
the heat up?
And I was like, maybe you should drop it like it's hot.
Yeah. And she was like, drop what? I'm holding this pen and it's room temperature.
And I was like, so drop it like it's hot. And then she did.
And then you were
Dropped the
like,
pen
oh,
on
you
the
dropped
ground.
your pen. You picked it up and handed it back to her. It was a very,
But I didn't know that she dropped it because couldn't hear it.
oh,
Ah.
yeah. No, I get that. So back to Thanksgiving. Did you guys have family over? Do you go to family's house? Like, what do you guys do? Is it just your household?
Most of my family's in Philly, except for my sister-in-law, my niece, and my nephew are here. But they kind of do their own thing on Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Mindy's family is spread out from Washington and Texas.
Okay.
So none of her family are here either. So, so yeah, we just did it with us and the kids, and
Who does the cooking?
usually me. But this year, because we went to the Rapids game, we ordered like a pre-cooked Thanksgiving meal, so like a
Oh,
full
right on.
turkey and all that, and then you just got to heat it up in the oven.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it was fine.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it's not like white people Thanksgiving is all that good food anyway. Like,
Yeah.
about a
I
decade
don't know.
ago.
Mine's pretty awesome.
Is it like about a decade ago? I really went through this like thing where I was like, man, I had worked in Detroit and I had met so many like black families and stuff like that, and they would tell me about what they had at their Thanksgiving, and then at work we had like a potluck. And they were bringing all in like their food, and I was so jealous. I was like, this is way better than what we have. So I was like, dude, I'm done with this tradition. So it started with us like just going from roasting a turkey to I was like injecting it with like jalapeno
Hormones.
butter. Well, yeah. And you're like injecting it with like, Creole butter, jalapeno butter, all that stuff.
Right.
Putting like a good rub on it to then like the last 3 years since I've gotten like into like smoking stuff. Like I'll smoke turkeys and that's kind of like kicked everything up. So now I like Thanksgiving again. Like I enjoy smoking the turkeys all morning. This year I did a double smoked spiral ham. So like the ham comes, already cooked and cut, and then I put like a rub on the outside and like a mustard binder, and then put that back on the smoker for 3.5 hours, and oh my gosh, that was amazing.
Yeah, smoking a turkey is pretty great.
Yeah. But like collard greens, I love collard greens. Mac and cheese, like that's usually not at like white people Thanksgiving. Like, Caucasian Thanksgiving is pretty boring. And I think it's nice when you kind of step outside that box.
I grew up in an Italian family, so we never did, turkey and all that. We would do scarol soup, which is like some people call it Italian wedding soup, but it's not actually Italian wedding soup. It's a little different than that.
Okay.
But it's similar, but it's made with scarol, which is kind of like spinach, and then the little tiny meatballs and all that kind of stuff. And then that would be the starter. Well, we would do salad, and then that would be the starter. There was the soup, and then we do like homemade ravs, homemade spaghetti.
Would it be endless salad? Like at Olive Garden? Because when you're there, your family.
Yeah.
Is that like
It's
traditional?
True.
Is that traditional Italian fare where you get unlimited salad and breadsticks when you're at your Thanksgiving?
I don't know that it gets any better than that. I mean, truthfully.
Like when you're growing up, we've all at some point in our life gotten a $50 Olive Garden gift card. And,
Right.
And you eat at Olive Garden, and it's the greatest meal ever because it's free, because you have that $50, so you go with like a date, your wife, your, whoever, and you eat, and it's fantastic. And then you never go again until 7 years later when you get another $50 gift card.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even go then.
Right. No, I'll give it away.
I'll give the gift card to somebody else. I don't want that shit.
Hey, this is a $50 gift card. Give me $10 for it, and we'll call it square. Yeah. So go on. So you have like the Italian wedding soup. What else you got going on?
We'll do homemade ravs. Well, I don't do this. This is my mom and my mom and my dad's side of the family. We do homemade spaghetti. It's the actual spaghetti.
Okay.
So we'd make the dough and then we'd roll it out, and we had like a spaghetti maker. It was like a little crank, and you'd feed the spaghetti in. Yeah. And then we do homemade meatballs, sausage.
You said ravioli.
I mean, just a ravioli.
What do you stuff the ravioli with?
Ricotta.
Okay.
I don't do that. I can't. The whole reason I'm drinking almond milk is because I can't have dairy.
Oh.
Or
I think
we
Reese
have a
is the
repeat.
same way. You and Reese are both.
Yeah.
Man, it's that
Yeah.
Rocky Mountain air just screwed you guys up.
Must be. I think it was just the fact that I drank tons of milk when I was a kid.
You think? No, that's not the reason.
You don't think so?
No, I mean, no. I don't think any of us, like, at our bodies, like, maybe I'm just thinking off the cuff here. I'm not giving it a good thought. But I would think that, like, we're genetically predisposed to things.
You think so?
I do.
I mean, I think there's some truth to that. But I do know that we are the only species on the planet that drinks milk after, like, breastfeeding.
Yeah.
Like, as adults, we're the only species that, like, drinks milk.
Which I'm fine with.
Oh, I'm fine with it too.
Yeah. I always find it funny that when people have an argument, and then they use we're the only species that fill in the blank, because then I want to be like, yeah, we're also the only species that, like, paints pictures, that builds machinery, that, you know what I mean? Like, that's why we're human beings. Like, we make music, and you can't be like, well, birds make music. No. Every bird makes the same sound. Like, if you're a blue jay, all blue jays make that noise. That ain't music. Like, we're the only species that actually makes music, and, stuff like that. A bird's not going to, I always thought it was hilarious when they taught that gorilla to paint. And like, the scientists were like, dude, we got this gorilla and he paints, and it's amazing. And because we do sign language, and he knows what he's doing, and we can talk to this gorilla, and we're making advancements, and we're going to be able to, he's going to be like a cousin. And so they give him like a canvas, and they give him paint, and he just puts like, it just looks like a monkey painted on a canvas. And then they asked him to sign what it was. And I can't remember if they put up like a bowl of fruit and then told him to paint it. So of course he didn't paint the bowl of fruit, but the scientists will tell you that he painted the bowl of fruit, that he painted his, what he saw. And then they told him to name it, and he named it Stink Gorilla More. So that's what he signed. That's what he signed to the scientist, was like this thing was called Stink Gorilla More.
That sounds like that would be the name of a painting that I would paint. That
was the name of a band that I was in after the Insiders.
Stink Gorilla More?
Stink Gorilla More. And what we did is we were a band in the summertime, and we played for a day camp. So, like, every morning at this day camp, we were all just a bunch of like washed up rockers. And so we just lived out our dreams by playing in front of like 6 to 12-year-olds, and they were forced to listen to us. And that was the name of our band, Stink Gorilla More. It was great. And I'll tell you this, a lot of the covers we did were from the original High School Musical movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, we were a great High School Musical cover band. All right. So with I'm just kind of fixated on Thanksgiving. One of my biggest things is breaking bread with people. I think cultural barriers, I think everything, like, it can be broke down by sharing a meal with somebody. And so I get a lot out of it. People might think like, oh my gosh, I'm listening to Pickle and Boot Shop. They're talking about Thanksgiving food. Thanksgiving's done. Move on. But I think it goes deeper. And just like you have this Italian thing going on. I have kind of this neo-traditional thing going on. What is the food that you hate at Thanksgiving? Like, if it's going to be tradition, like if your tradition, like, what do you hate? Do you hate the ravioli, or do you hate turkey, or, you know, what is it that it does not end up on your plate?
Well, if we went to my Aunt Antoinette's house,
Beautiful woman.
she was a beautiful woman, and she has outlived most of the younger, she was the oldest of my dad's siblings.
Oh, wow.
And she outlived my dad and my two of my uncles. And she was the aunt that would pinch my cheeks.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She was that aunt, and she just loved you to death. And like I remember my mom dropping me off because she had some things she had to take care of, and she dropped me off at my Aunt Antoinette's house. And I remember her bringing me out. She's like, "Are you hungry? I know you're hungry." And so she brought me out this plate of raviolis. It was bigger than the size of my head, and I was like 10 years old. You know, I'm like, Aunt Antoinette, I'm not going to eat all this. And
She's like, the heck you aren't.
Yeah. And I ate as much as I could until I was just full. And, you know, it's always the Italian, you know, what's the matter with you?
Yeah, mangia,
what's the matter?
mangia,
Yeah,
mangia.
Yeah, mangia. You're not, what, you're not hungry? Well, you don't like my food? Eat. I'm like, my stomach isn't that big, Aunt Antoinette.
You're like, Aunt Antoinette, I'm vegan.
No, that was
You're like, but
for me.
Aunt Antoinette, I love Earth Crisis and I'm vegan. And she's like, manja.
But there wasn't really anything that I didn't like. I'm trying to think. I never liked. All right, so I like the chocolate covered almonds.
Okay.
But I never liked like the hard candy covered almonds.
Oh,
Do you know what I'm
candy covered
talking
almonds
about?
are disgusting. Yeah.
I never liked those.
Yeah, I don't like those.
I never had an affinity for what's the ice cream, the Italian ice cream, and it's got like
Oh, Spumoni?
Spumoni. I always thought Spumoni was disgusting.
I don't.
Why would anybody eat this? I got older and I developed an appreciation for it, and I'm still waiting for a non-dairy version of it so that I can eat it again. But like I never liked Spumoni ice cream. Gag.
Yeah, I never had a problem with it. I'm not Italian, but I've definitely had Spumoni ice cream. You know, you'd go to an Italian restaurant or something, and it would come as your dessert. The traditional Caucasian Thanksgiving food that I hate is green bean casserole.
Yeah, I'm indifferent to it. I don't dislike it, but
I can't stand casseroles. I think as far as American history goes, I think we really dropped the ball with casseroles. I feel like the 50s, like the Cleavers and like Betty Crocker and Reader's Digest would put recipes on everything, and everything was a casserole. Tuna noodle casserole makes me want to vomit. Anything that's the only casserole that I enjoy is a breakfast casserole, where you got like eggs, sausage, hash browns, everything like cooked together. But like tuna noodle casserole, barf. Green bean casserole. I just feel like there was like this point in American history where they were like, put a bunch of crap in a dish, pour cream of mushroom soup on it, stir it up, and throw it in the oven. And that was it. And it was like, gross. I like cream of mushroom soup, but like, the thing is, whatever's in green bean casserole, I like everything individually. I love green beans. I love them. I love cream of mushroom soup. I love mushrooms. I like the little fried onions on top. But all together, maybe it's a texture thing. I just cannot stand it. I think it's embarrassing. If you're the person that has to bring green bean casserole to a party, a get together, a family event, shame on you. Shame on you.
My wife makes a chicken casserole that's pretty good. That is it's like a curry casserole.
Okay.
And I like that one, but yeah, I'm with you on casseroles. I'm kind of like,
yeah. And then casserole.
Although if this counts as a casserole, shepherd's pie, I could fuck up shepherd's pie on a moment's notice.
No,
dude.
that's not a casserole because it's not thrown in and then with cream of mushroom soup on it. You know what I mean? Like you layer it like a lasagna. You put the mashed potatoes down. You put the cheese. You put the peas. You put the meat.
Right.
And you just keep layering that sucker. There's a place here in the city where we live, Royal Oak. There's a place called the Royal Oak Brewery, and they have an amazing shepherd's pie, and then they also have Scotch eggs. So you get you get those Scotch eggs, and then you get the shepherd's pie, and then you down them with a couple of pints. Oh, that's a good Friday night right there. Are you?
Hey, I'm a little bit concerned that my mic isn't picking up as well as I want it to.
Okay.
Can we pause for just a quick second?
Yeah.
So we could do like 1, 2, 3 pause or something.
Yeah, just I'm gonna pause right now. Okay.
Okay.
And then we can clap. 3, 2, 1. Oh, let's go again.
Oh. One more time. So wait, is it 3, 2, 1?
We should be
both of us
clapping at the same time. You can count down. Go.
Me.
3, 2, 1. Clap. You count it. You're the drum.
That's what I thought.
I'll go with you.
Okay.
All right.
3, 2.
All right. Good
1.
stuff. So we're back up and running. That's all right. Better to check now than be screwed later.
Sorry about that.
Although we do got the Skype recording as backup, so. That's right, you guys. I said Skype.
Yeah.
Some of you made fun of us for using Skype like it's an archaic thing, but it seemed you guys are listening to the show and it seems to be working. We record Skype. We're watching each other talking through Skype, but then we're recording our vocals onto GarageBand. It's a big rigmarole. That's how we have to do it. We're janky because we don't want to spend all this money on equipment. Yeah. And it's affection.
Hey,
and
it's affection. It's affection.
I just rolled the dice. I told you prior to coming on the show,
and
I had a little bout of the Rhea train. I was riding the diarrhea train. And as I was right before the show, I got the bubble guts and just went. And then came down here and we've been recording. It's now about a half hour later. I just had another little gas bubble and I rolled the dice and I went for it. I farted and I didn't crap my pants. Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So Andy, let's start getting into stuff. We're over Thanksgiving.
That is very
let's
good.
start getting into. I want to ask this. This is Pickle and Boot Shop. We're talking about the origins of this show and the basics of this show are to reminisce about 90s ska and all that stuff. Do you still listen to ska? Is that something that you still listen to? Who are your favorite bands? Give us some just ones that you've always listened to and you probably always will. And then do you listen to anything new? Any new bands that have popped up? Anything new that you listen to?
Well, I love the two-tone stuff, so Madness, the Specials.
I love Madness. I didn't get into Madness till later in my life. And I love Madness.
Oh, yeah. I love Madness. They're fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
So I love Skanky Pickle. The band that got me into ska to begin with was I would probably have to say yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Your life was nothing until you heard, all right, Supertones, let's rock.
Let's rock. Yeah. That was the first band I heard that was sort of under that like ska punk umbrella was Op Ivy.
Okay.
And then but I didn't know what ska was. They just sounded like they reminded me of I don't know if you remember the side project that The Exploited did called Citizen Fish.
Yeah.
But so I was really into Citizen Fish. And Fishbone was another one early on that I got really into.
Yeah, Fishbone was so rad.
Yeah. I got into Fishbone when I saw them at Lollapalooza in '92. I guess you could say Bob Marley prior to that, because I guess technically he's on the record as saying he's not a reggae musician, but he's a ska musician.
Heck yeah.
And later on, I started getting into a lot of the root stuff like Desmond Decker, Toots and the Maytals, Jackie Mito, and then but what I'm listening to now, and of course, like Less Than Jake was seminal.
Heck yeah.
Anything Mike Park did. MU330 is my favorite all-time ska, not only ska punk band, but just in general band from the 90s.
Really?
They are, MU330 is hands down the best 90s band in my opinion.
That's what, I love Who's Your Love? Who's Your Love? Southside City, who's your love? But other than that, I really don't know. I've heard their stuff, but nothing of theirs ever really grabbed me other than Who's Your Love.
Every single album, dude.
Really? I'll have to go back and listen.
I don't think there's a bad song on any of their albums. What is it? Ultra Panic.
Mm-hmm.
That one's okay. It still has some good songs on it. It's got that song, the KKK Adopted a Highway, which is pretty good. I love Dan's solo stuff. So Dan P and the Bricks. I love that stuff. I like how he got a lot of play on the ska documentary. The Pick It Up Ska doc. He was important. Just as a songwriter, he is an amazing songwriter. And I think when Crab Rangoon came out, that album, so there are certain albums that they just hit you. They come out at the right time and they hit you right where you're at.
Yeah.
And Crab Rangoon was one of those records for me where it was when it came out, every lyric just spoke to right where I was at, and just musically, it was everything that I needed at that time.
Yeah.
And then when San Francisco came out, that album was another one that was just every song on this album is great.
Yeah.
And even when Jason was singing for him, I loved all that stuff too. And we have a tight, I feel me personally speaking, I feel we have a tight bond with those guys. It may be one-sided, but particularly Micah and I, we love they can do no wrong in our eyes. Like they're
Okay.
just, they're just wonderful people, and hanging out with them was something that really sort of shook my worldview and just sort of challenged where I was at and made me want to be a better person.
Okay.
Dan had a lot to do with that. Like, he was just such an open and positive and friendly person. And coming out of, the fucking, what were the Grammys for the Christian
Dove
market?
Awards. Dove.
Yeah, the Dove Awards and all that shit. Like, it was just like, it was a breath of fresh air to be with these guys that are just like, we love this music and we believe in being nice to people. And that really kind of resonated with me hardcore. So
Parkour.
parkour, hardcore parkour. Current bands that I listen to, I love We Are the Union. I gotta always give them props. There's a band called Westbound Train that I like a lot. I love the Skins.
Okay.
They're fantastic. I don't know if you've listened to much of their
No,
stuff.
I'm writing these down.
As far as ska bands go, I don't know. I tend to sort of like, I'll dip my toes in the new wave of ska pool for a little bit,
Yeah.
but I always tend to go back to what I know and what I'm comfortable with. So I try to, but I really want to support local new ska bands, even if I hear them and I don't like them.
Yeah.
I still want to be like, hey, like when the conversation turns towards doing shows and stuff like that, I'm always trying to think of whatever the local ska band is.
Yeah.
That would be cool to have. So like, we discovered the band. Well, I don't want to say we discovered, but we found out about the band The Last Slice, and they're really good. They're out of Tulsa, I think.
Okay.
There's a band from Denver called the AOKs that are awesome. Trying to think. Be Like Max is another band that I got to give props to. They're all real underground, which is cool, right? Because I feel like that's what ska should be. So in the 90s, when bands like, and this is I'm not trying to shit on any of these bands at all, but like when bands like Real Big Fish and the Bosstones and No Doubt, when they were all getting like their breakout songs, they were, like, it was cool, but also it's sort of, all of a sudden everyone wanted to be in a ska band, and it sort of, it kind of diluted the scene a little too much, or maybe diluted is the wrong word, oversaturated
Yeah.
the scene. So
Yeah, I always think that too, but in that same sense where there, every town had a ska band, but in that you really saw and you really found out who was good, because there's a big difference between a good ska band and a not good ska band. So I think that's where always like the big three, as far as in the Christian scene, came from with us, because it was like the Supertones, you guys, and us. And then there were 40 other ska bands, but nobody really separated themselves from the big pool of 40. Like, Buck would do some stuff, and Big Dog Small Fence. Like, those guys were rad out of Southern California. The Israelites were always awesome and never got the pub that they deserved.
I agree 100%, man.
Yeah.
I agree 100% about that.
They never got it. And so like they were fantastic, but like just because you have 3 buddies at school that play horns and you're like a little punk band with horns, it doesn't mean you're good. And the thing that I always say, that the people that listen to the show have probably heard me say this, multiple times already. But when you listen to ska, it seems like fun, easy music. And you just listen to it and you're like, oh, this sounds like it should be in the background of a video game, or, there's always the joke that it's like ska is what a kid hears when his mom gives him, mozzarella sticks. That's like what's playing in his head. But if you think about it, like, you can't be a crappy drummer in a ska band. Like, you can't be a bad drummer in a ska band. You can't be a bad bass player in a ska band. Like, you will stick out like a sore thumb. If you don't play that upbeat on guitar well, you will not be a good ska band. If your horn players can't play their horns, or they sound like, they're in beginner band at band camp, you don't sound good. So ska always sounds easy, but you need to be a good musician.
Yeah, so I was listening to, I don't know if you subscribe to Ska Tune Network.
No.
If you don't, you should. It's really,
what's
it's a
it
YouTube
on?
channel.
It's a YouTube channel?
Yeah. The dude that runs it, he actually filled in for Dennis once or twice.
Is it called Ska Tube or Ska Tune?
Like, it's like Cartoon Network, but it's Ska Tune Network.
Okay.
There was a interview with Mike Park about a year ago, and Mike was like, look, ska is more than just the upbeat guitar and having horns. That does not make you a ska band. It's all about like the rhythm of ska, and so just have a chicka 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 chicka, like that is like, I mean, there are some ska songs that have that, but there is so much more to that upbeat, rhythm that is, there are, and particularly on the drums. And I'll be honest with you, I never really understood the rhythm of ska as far as a drummer until after Five Iron broke up. Like I had the ska punk thing down really well. 4 on the floor with the kick drum, every quarter note, boop 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 boop, and then and just that really driving rhythm, which is cool for ska punk. But if you want to be a legit ska band, you have to know how to play, a one drop, or a dance hall beat, or a rockers beat, which are all very different styles of drumming. And when I first started getting really into traditional ska, which, like I said, was after Five Iron broke up, I just went headlong into traditional ska and roots reggae and stuff like that. I realized it's fucking not easy to play. It's hard. There's a lot of it on our new album. Scott and I were kind of in the same place musically as far as where we wanted to go with Until This Shakes Apart, as far as the fusion between the last album, Engine of a Million Plots, and then the last 2 albums of the first incarnation of Five Iron. So adding those heavier rock elements and less punk elements, like on Electric Boogaloo and End Is Here. Those 2 records combined with that last record, but we wanted to really put way more ska in there, traditional ska. And so I was stoked, man. I got way into traditional reggae drumming and stuff like that. And I'm by no means like a master at it. I just got really interested in it and worked really hard at it. And I think I came out with a pretty decent product of it. It's sort of my rendition of it. But you know, and that's all subjective. Some people might say it's garbage, but
what do they know? You know what I mean? What do they know? Nothing. Andy,
I'm
I'll
open
answer
to
that question for you. Nothing. They don't know nothing.
I'm open to constructive criticism.
Not me.
You know, as long as it's constructive. You know, like
I'm open to
if
constructive criticism as long as it praises me for how good I am.
Okay. You're a wonderful human being, and you're the greatest singer. You're better than Paul McCartney.
See, this is the kind of constructive criticism I like. Yeah. I like when people criticize me that I'm like too good looking or I'm too good of a songwriter. Like I'm like, I like when people are like, you know what? I have one criticism. I wish you wouldn't write songs lyrically so amazing, because I just openly weep, and I feel, you know, everyone's gonna buy your album. There won't be a person on the planet that doesn't. That's the constructive criticism I like.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, that's the fun stuff. So you said like the Skins, Westbound Train, and you said
not the Skins.
Oh, the what?
SKINTS, skint. So
okay.
If you're like, it's a British term. So if you're skint, it means you have no money. You're broke.
Oh, I'm that, and I didn't even know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about that, huh?
I'm low key skint.
You know, if you want to get into some a nice rounded exposure to like all different types of ska music, from the early stuff to the current stuff, you should listen to Boot Boy Radio. It's this dude that he plays. He'll play 5-iron. He'll play, you know, slapstick. He'll play the Skints, and then he'll play Bob Marley. It's just like a nice.
And that's called what? That's called what?
Boot Boy Radio.
Boot Boy Radio. Okay.
Yeah, there's some good ska stuff in there.
Oh heck yeah! That's why I used to.
Did you ever check out that band I told you about, Turnstile?
No, I didn't get a chance to listen to it.
Dude, they're fucking awesome.
I'll give it a listen tomorrow. What style are they?
They're a hardcore band, but they're
okay.
not like any hardcore band you've ever heard.
They're like they're like the Spice Girls meet Hanson meet hardcore.
I would say they're like the Beatles of the hardcore scene.
Oh, wowzers! That's
like they're doing things that are really impressive and interesting, in my opinion.
All right. Well, I'll give them. See, I'm not a hardcore aficionado. I like hardcore, but I only like specific stuff. Like, I could probably count on one hand, maybe two, the hardcore bands that I like. So Earth Crisis is always going to be on there. Snapcase. What's it called? They sing. Oh, doggone it. Not Refused.
They would definitely be on my top 5.
Refused.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Is Refused who did New Noise?
Yeah.
Okay, then Refused. Yeah. So Refused, Earth Crisis, Snapcase. Trying to think, like, we would, like, I guess kind of like H2O.
Yeah, they're a hardcore band.
Yeah. And like after that, it starts to get muddy for me. Like I start to get to where I'm like, I don't really know, like, if I like all that many more.
for me, it's like the bands that I always end up coming back to are obviously Minor Threat, Bad Brains, Stretch Armstrong is another one that I like a lot. Gorilla Biscuits.
Yeah.
They're like a timeless
Yeah, they
hardcore
are.
band for me.
They are.
Trying to think of who else. I still like Strong Arm a lot.
Oh yeah, Strong Arm, Zayo.
Yeah.
I liked
never got into Zayo.
I loved Unashamed. Like I did like Unashamed. You never got into Zayo?
Not really, no. I like. There's something about them that it doesn't click with me.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that, like, I won't say that a band sucks anymore, just because, like, I feel like it has more to do with whether or not it speaks to you. Like,
Yeah.
the music, if it speaks to you, it speaks to you. If it doesn't, it doesn't mean they suck, because obviously they have fans. But,
Correct. No, I think that just comes with age. It's just that wisdom that you get, You just learn over time that, you know what, these dudes, they're just all out there grinding. They're just trying to do their own art, and it is what it
Avail
is.
was my favorite for a long time.
Yeah.
Avail, dude, that band fucking rules. So good. I've seen them so many times live.
Yeah.
Every time they were great, and it was usually to a crowd of like 50 to 100 people, but it didn't matter if there's 5 people in the club. They always just killed it every time.
I always feel like in Detroit, I always feel like we had an amazing hardcore scene, and our hardcore scene mixed with our punk ska scene. Like the three all went like hand in hand. You would go in Detroit in the like mid 90s, you would go to a show and it would like a punk band would open, or a ska band would open, a hardcore band would be middle, and then like a punk band would headline. And it was amazing in Detroit because it wasn't like what we had to experience where, people bring us in and it's like, oh, Five Irons headlining, Insiders will go on before them, and then we have 2 local ska bands. And by the time you get to like the Insiders or Five Iron, everybody's sca'd out. Like, you're done.
Yeah.
Everything was just sounded the same. So I always loved that here in Detroit, that you rarely went to a show where it was like 3 ska bands playing. It was always like ska band, hardcore band, something like that. It always went hand in hand. And that's where we got a lot of our fans. Our fans in the Midwest here, unfortunately, like, people who know the Insiders from our albums, our live shows were like quite different. Like, we were always a bit harder than what we put out on like an album, than what was recorded. And so in the Midwest, it was always rad because we would have these hardcore kids, they got the Dickies on, they got their hoodies on, they got their hoods up, and they're just going bananas.
Sharpie X's on their hands.
Yeah, Sharpie X's on their hands, straight edge. Yeah, we would have that, and it was awesome. And then it wasn't until we like went out to California for the first time where we were like playing shows where like it's a ska crowd.
Right.
Here it wasn't a ska crowd; it was like a punk and hardcore crowd. And then we would like go to California or out west, and then it was actual like, oh my gosh, like these are all ska kids. Girls are showing up in like pleated skirts and blouses, and the dudes are either in suits or they're kind of the skins. That was so rad. That was really rad.
Yeah.
Let me see. I had another question here for you. So with all the like stuff that you've gotten into lately, what have you like now that like Five Iron's kind of gone, where you guys are just doing like spot dates and stuff like that? What else have you gotten into? You said that you kind of got into like traditional ska and doing the drumming for that. Was that just for recording, or is that like a new hobby? Is that a new passion? And what are your new hobbies and passions now that kind of Five Iron isn't your main gig?
I think what was sort of behind trying to learn all of those traditional ska and reggae rhythms on the kit was it was something that I always enjoyed listening to, but I never really tried to play it on the drums. It always felt like I would never be good enough or have the right sort of feel to play that stuff appropriately. And I almost like I don't want to do a disservice to something that I hold in such a high regard,
Yeah.
But then I was just like, fuck it. I'm just going to try. I'm in my basement. Nobody has to hear me. I'm just going to play along to these records that I've never, tried to play along to. And so, and it was nice to you have to, as a drummer, when you go from, punk beats that are 4/4 rhythms that, everything's sort of square, to ska rhythms where, you like I was talking about the one drop beat, which is like to wrap your head around a one drop when you've been conditioned to play a certain way your entire life. It's challenging. And I kind of was like, I like this challenge, and and I'm enjoying connecting to this music that I've always loved listening to, but connecting to it on another level and being able to appreciate it as an actual musician as opposed to just a listener.
Yeah.
My music taste has always been really broad.
Yeah.
So, I've always got a lot of different stuff in my library.
Now, does that bleed over into hobbies? Like for your hobbies, because you were always, I always think of you guys in Five Iron, you guys were always starting side projects. You guys always had the next thing going. Is that still the thing? Are you still doing music? Are you still taking what you learned from, working on those beats? Are you putting that into something else now? What's going on there?
Once you learn a new style, it lives with you. It doesn't.
And you charge it rent.
Yeah, exactly. No, it becomes part of your DNA as a musician. Once you learn something, whether or not you mean it to or want it to, it will creep its way in here and there.
Sure.
It's
just growth. It's just evolution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's also, okay, I have a whole new set of tools in my toolbox to use.
Yeah.
So you break them out when it's appropriate. And, but, with Scott, I did Yellow Second, and I did The Fast Feeling. And, he's got this new project that he's working on. I'm not really as integral a part of this. I'm more of kind of I'm not a member of the band, but he has called on me to do some tracking of some drums for little spots and songs and stuff like that where he wants live drums. But and then like I said, the last time we spoke, I'm working on this doom metal project, and it's really that's stretching me musically now. That's my focus is really learning how to write a good song and play it well on the guitar.
Okay.
And on the bass, and just write kind of a full song as opposed to just, hey, here's a riff, guys. With Five Iron, it'd be here's a riff that I wrote, or a little verse and chorus. Maybe we could do something with it. I've always wanted to do something where it's this is my project.
Yeah.
So Brave Saint Saturn, that's Reese's baby. the Fast Feeling and the Fast Feeling, that was Matt Langston and Scott's Baby. Yellow Second, that was Scott's Baby. I did a Sense with Dennis, but that was those were Dennis's songs. And I've always wanted to do my own thing. And, like when I write stuff that's really heavily riff based and kind of what I grew up in, which was kind of like heavy metal, punk, and, and a little bit of funk and hip hop in there. But I've always wanted to do something that is on the darker side, maybe, tune the guitar like a half step lower from standard or maybe a full step lower. And so it has that nice, deep, like Black Sabbath kind of sound.
Yeah.
And just write those kind of groovy guitar riffs that you can kind of sit in the pocket with and just kind of groove along to as a drummer. So, I mean, I'm always kind of working on stuff like that. And, writing too, just writing. I'm still working on short stories and poetry. And so like I feel like when I get static with that kind of stuff and I'm just kind of sitting around and not doing anything with it, it bothers me. Like it's always that thing. It's like, man, I got to complete that project. The tough thing is right now is that I don't really have anyone, breathing down my neck to get anything done with the stuff that I'm working on.
Yeah.
So,
I have an issue because I have two stories that one that I've yet to get on paper or on the computer, but I have another comic book that I've written, and I can't get an artist, I can't get an inker, nothing. So it's like this comic book that I have the story for, and I got nothing to go on. Like I got nothing. I'm at a dead end. So same thing, like it gets shelved until, the Lord puts whoever in my life that says, hey, I can draw that for you. I want to come on and do that.
I've got about 3 or 4 of those right now.
Yeah.
Like fully fleshed out, not completely written, but like fully fleshed out outlines.
Yeah.
Where, but it's hard to invest in that because it's like, well, what I want to put my energy into is something that will actually see the light of day. Like people will actually get to experience it. So, so it's hard to be motivated to work on those projects that are, labor of love type deals.
They are. It is. It's very tough because it always gets put on the back. It's like if you're saving for something, you're saving for something, say frivolous. So I'm a big, and this sounds absolutely stupid, but I'm a huge cologne guy. Like I love scents. And there's a cologne that I absolutely love. It's $350 for like a little bottle. So I can't just like go out. I don't have that money. So I have to like put $25 aside like every paycheck until I get enough to like buy the cologne. But in the meantime, the car breaks down. My daughter needs braces. My daughter needs shoes for cheerleading. Right. So it's like you have this like thing that you want, in the same sense of like a labor of love, but it's always getting put on the back burner because there's always something else that it's like, this is going to pay the bills or this will see the light of day, whereas this thing won't. I'm just, like I said, I got this comic book sitting, and then same with you, I have this story. Like, I don't think I would want to do it comic book style. I think I would want to write like a novel. And same thing. I have that like 60% done, outlined, everything like that. And it's just, whenever I have my free time, I don't want to just sit in front of the computer and like write, So I just think about it all day, and then I get home and I don't put it out.
The thing about writing, that's tough when you have a family and a full-time job and you have limited time to devote to it, is to write. I think you need to carve out at least 5 hours to write, and only like half of that or 2 hours of that is going to be actually writing, because where you're actually making progress. Because when you start writing, in my experience, you start writing, you have an idea, you start writing it out, and you're like, then you go, oh, I don't like that, and so you delete everything, or you maybe don't delete all of it, but you start to rework that little section. But a lot of that time in writing is just sitting there with yourself and saying, how do I want to make these words how do I want to make these words come out?
Yeah.
And for me, like the most important thing for me when I write is, obviously the story is important in the plot, and the motivation of your characters. But for me, like, one of the things that I tend to hyper focus on is, how does and this is going to sound funny to say, but how does the sentence sound in my mouth? How does it feel in my mouth when I say it? Like, when I read it out loud, does it feel good in my mouth to say it?
Yeah.
So I'll write, and then I'll write like a chunk, like maybe a paragraph or two when I first get started, and I'll read it, and I'll be like, okay, I like these sentences, but a lot of this other stuff is like filler or just like pushing the plot forward, or, and I want it to be more than that. Like, I want every single sentence to have some level of importance to it.
Yeah, it needs to be there. Yeah.
And so it's challenging because you end up, I think that one of the ways I heard it expressed that I really like was they were talking about Tolkien, the way he wrote The Hobbit, where it was like waves at low tide coming in on high tide. So he'd get a little bit done, and then he'd step, and then a little bit more the next time, and then he'd step back, and then eventually he would have a completed work. But it was like this, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And that's kind of how I write too, because I'm highly critical. I have a hard time liking anything that I do, or feeling confident, I should say. It's probably a better way to describe that. I have a hard time feeling confident that anything that I'm going to do is going to be worth anyone reading or listening to. It's just a personal thing, like, it's a thing that a character flaw that I have to work out for myself. But
I'm the opposite.
I'm afraid of people. Yeah.
Because I do stuff where I think I've been burned so much in my life where I try to do what the record company said. I changed the lyrics to do this. I changed the lyrics to do that. And I realized that I've censored myself to appeal to other people. And then when I have a finished project, it doesn't appeal to me. And so I think with the Insiders, like our first couple albums or things that I've experienced in life, I do everything for me. And if doing the Pickle and Boot Shop gets 1,000 listens a week, I'm cool with that. If someone's like, well, you can do this and you can do this more and you can talk about this more and you can get 5,000 listens a week. Yeah, but if that's not what I want to be proud. I love what, you know what I mean? So whether it's an album, whether it's the podcast, whether it's whatever, I just want to be proud of it. And if numbers come with what I believe in, awesome. If they don't, then it's my work that I can be proud of that's out there.
Yeah, for me, I think my reservations all come from my PTSD and always feeling inadequate, or worry that I'm either going to offend someone or someone's going to think I'm stupid or
No,
I'm
there.
not talented.
Stop there, because I want to get into that on the next portion. So we're at about the hour mark right now. Let's bring this to a close. Freebie people, we want to thank you for listening. We want to thank Andy for being back on. And man, we hope you guys have a blessed week this week. Have a great time. If you want to hear the rest of it, feel free to sign up on Patreon. Look up Pickle and Boot Shop on Patreon, and you can get that. If you do sign up, the lowest tier I think is $5 a month, and you get an extra 4 hours of content. You can listen to us blab for an extra 4 hours, and you're about to hear Andy and I dig into this a little more. So, you guys, I want to say bye. Thank you so much.
Rock and roll. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, you guys, we'll see you.
For more shows like this one, visit rockcandyrecordings.com.
Last one. So now I'm recording. Check. Okay. Okay.
Band.
Cool.
All right. Do you have your garage band going?
Yep, I'm recording right now.
Okay, let's clap. Let's go 3, 2, 1. Was that good on your end or no?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right, good stuff.